Hi, I'm Rod Stone from Stone Accounting and Business Advisory. Today we're going to continue our series of videos on cryptocurrency, metaverses, NFTs and everything involved in that space to make sure that we understand what our tax obligations are when it comes time to lodge our tax return. So today we're going to talk about metaverses. A metaverse is basically an online community that, whether we like it or not, we're going to spend more and more time in these metaverses online in the future. They're going to become a part of our life. And 2022, I think we'll look back when we get to the end of the year and we'll have all had a metaverse experience, or we'll have known a lot more about them. And a lot of us may have even purchased something in the metaverse. Some of us are already actively involved in it. We have clients already getting involved in metaverses and buying things in there. So the two main metaverses that are available now is Sandbox and Decentraland. You can go to their websites and check them out, but let's just take one as an example. So Sandbox is probably the most popular one right now. So you can log into Sandbox and you can have a look around, and it's basically a universe that looks a little bit like Minecraft. If you've got kids, you'll know what that is. You'll know what it looks like. But in the future, that's all about to change. In August last year, the land in Sandbox, there's 167,000 blocks of land. The land in Sandbox was selling for $800 per block. Today, it's about 15,000 Australian dollars. In the last few months, we've had people like Adidas, Snoop Dogg, and a whole lot of other gamified companies buy land in the Sandbox and pay millions of dollars for the land. One of the really interesting things from an accountant's point of view is that I had a vision this year that I would buy land in Sandbox, we'd build an accounting office in there, and for some of our forward-thinking clients, which we've got quite a few, might have our first online meeting in the Sandbox. Now, I understand it's a crazy idea, and for people watching this video, they might think, what's he talking about? But just about 3 weeks ago, the largest accounting firm in the world, PwC, they purchased a large block of land in the Sandbox, and they've got exactly the same thinking. They're about to build an accounting office in the Sandbox and hold meetings and advise clients on how to invest in the Sandbox. 2.5 weeks ago, a Hong Kong conglomerate of business owners got together and spent millions, many millions of dollars buying land in the Sandbox. So if you go in there and you have a look at the map, you'll see that there's big money going into this. And over the next few months, Sandbox is going to be developed into a metaverse that people are going to want to go into. And when you go into that, there'll be things you can buy. It'll be just like shopping regularly in our daily lives. But why this is really important from a tax perspective is because the way that the tax office looks at anything we do with cryptocurrencies or metaverses or NFTs in future videos, which I'll go into in a lot more detail, anything we do is treated as an investment. And when it's treated as an investment, if we buy something, we've got to keep track of that purchase, and we've got to then keep track of how long we own it for, when we sell it, how much we sell it for, and then we've got to do a capital gains tax calculation. That sounds simple if we just do one transaction. But people who are getting into the metaverse area, it's not as simple as doing one transaction. People are making many transactions, and they're unaware of their record-keeping requirements and the tax obligations that they're going to have in their tax return at 30 June. So that's why I wanted to make a video. We've already got clients that are participating in this, and if they left their activity to put together at 30 June, the job is way too big. So in a simple sense, a transaction that might occur in the metaverse occurs like this. You've got money in your internet banking with NAB or CBA or one of your banks. You transfer that over into your cryptocurrency wallet, you buy cryptocurrency. Then you go into Sandbox and you might buy something in there. It might be a piece of clothing, it might be an item, or it might be a block of land. So when the money goes from your internet banking to cryptocurrency, that's the entry point for the CGT event. You've purchased a digital asset. Then when you change it from cryptocurrency into something else you've bought in the metaverse, that's a sale of a CGT event. You've got one capital gains tax calculation there to do. Now your money is in an asset that you've bought in Sandbox, for example. If it's land, then you've got land there. If that land increases in value or you sell it at a gain or a loss, you've got another capital gains tax transaction to do. But you might not just buy land, you might buy an item, you might buy 10 items. So there's 10 capital gains tax calculations we've got to do. So that's enough for this video. It just highlights that once we get into this space, there is an enormous amount of record keeping that we've got to do and substantiation, and all of that activity I've just outlined there needs to go into our tax return. That's the tax office's current stance. As I've said in previous videos, I believe that stance will change. It's got to change. The world is changing, and our regulations and our laws around this are very much behind. We've got to adapt. But currently, at least for this year, we've got to be aware of that tax obligation. And if you're not, you might find that with this activity going into your tax return, that you've got a tax bill that you're not expecting. So very happy to talk to people in a lot more detail about this. We feel it's timely to get this information out to our client base, because we've got clients already doing this, and I've made them aware of what their obligations are. So if anyone's got any questions, please contact me. Metaverses is something we know a fair bit about. We've got a fair bit of experience with it. Next videos will be on NFTs, so please stay tuned if you've got questions or you're interested in NFTs and what your obligations there are from a tax perspective. Please stay tuned for those videos coming up. Thank you.